Looking for some new business right now? I'll bet you are if you're a loan originator. Well, come to our New Biz Toolkit webinar on June 20th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where Angel Oak is going to give you all the scripting and all the tools you need to get new business out of builders, realtors, CPAs, small banks, and local credit unions. Everything you need, you're going to get at this webinar. Don't miss it. Click this banner you see right here over on your right.
Dude, I don't know for the life of me why more people aren't succeeding with Listing Booster. I really honestly don't. You know, we just got back from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We had Greg Peckman who was sitting up there on the stage, talking about his success. A big part of it is Listing Booster. You know, we get people who are just, getting agents is not hard. Getting leads is not hard.
Right.
And boy, what a great problem to have, converting leads. And there's tons of ways to do them.
That's a good point.
I mean, seriously.
My problem is I can't convert all these leads.
Yeah, it's really a trip. As a loan officer, guys, seriously, if you've had it before, you have to look at Listing Booster. You just do. We're doing webinars all over the place. I'm sure there's a way to find one of our webinars. My next webinar is going to be 15 minutes. Here's all the people getting thousands of leads. Here's how they're doing it. Now you need to do it. It's that simple.
End of story.
End of story.
Just get on board. Click the banner you see right here over on your right. Might have to scroll down, or I'll just put it straight down below.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so, all right, did Mick Mulvaney of the CFPB, did he fire the entire advisory board over at the CFPB? Yes, he did do that.
Yes.
Did the advisory board receive a salary? No, they did not. They were doing it all just because they wanted to help you, because they love you.
Oh, I see.
Is the advisory board required by law? Yes, it is.
Okay.
Are there groups that defended the past director that are pissed off right now about the board getting fired?
Sure.
You bet your ass there is. A whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but we can't help but point out one glaring, obvious, and funny point.
Yes.
That would be distractors are pissed that Mulvaney used the same absolute executive power that you defended in your past guy, Richard Cordroy.
Aha!
That's right, Mulvaney fired everyone without a single care of any recourse because it ain't coming. Because Mulvaney rules with absolute power.
What you wanted.
So now, do you see why that can be a problem?
Yeah, it kind of looks bad now.
Wasn't a problem with your guy, Richard Cordroy, now was it? Hell, it was a great idea. Now, not so much. Not so much. And here's the funny thing, I agree.
Me too.
Even Mulvaney agrees.
Too bad to have that much power.
But he can do it because that's how Dodd and Frank and Pelosi and Warren set this thing up.
I just love that. Well, this whole absolute power thing is a crock of shit. Now, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You liked it before.
Right.
Okay, to the points above. No, they weren't paid, this panel, but Mulvaney said all those advisors sure loved getting wined and dined at DC junkets. And by the way, a junket is something that costs a lot of money. A junket is a public official enjoying extravagant parties at the expense of the public. So scratch that point up. Second, Mulvaney even acknowledged that the panel has to exist because it's statutory law, and he plans on putting together a new and smaller board where leaks aren't going to happen, and members will be more willing to share their thoughts.
Okay, now, last point. Have you ever been in a meeting?
Yeah. A lot
Probably.
of them. Yeah, I hate them.
Probably.
Hate them.
Have you ever realized that the larger the group, the less effective that meeting
That's
becomes?
totally true.
Yeah.
You put 4 people in a room, you get to the point, you put 900 and nobody's doing nothing.
Right. Now, that's what Mulvaney is trying to change. Well, that and absolutely everything else about the Bureau.
Oh, by the way, I want to change gears here.
What?
Has nothing to do with real estate. I just love this story.
All right.
Did you know Elon Musk and his boring company, you know who they are, right?
Sure.
Okay, well, they just delivered their first 1,000 flamethrowers at a boring flamethrower party in Southern California.
Okay.
Now, I like it, guys. Get rid of all the guns, but give everybody flamethrowers because it's legal. By the way, I'm not joking about this at all. It really happened. Elon Musk, who owns Tesla, wants to bore tunnels under Los Angeles because sitting in traffic is boring.
True.
Get it? It's boring.
Right.
So, to boost his initial funding, the boring company made a bunch of flamethrowers to sell. Yeah, because flamethrowers are totally okay to have. Now, I don't know about you, but I want one of these things.
I gotta have one too. It's like I got a chainsaw once. I have absolutely no use for a chainsaw in my, suburban little home. No use for it whatsoever.
Right.
But I got one. I cut so many things. I was like, I needed to have that chainsaw just to have it. And I was like cutting small bushes and stuff. And flamethrower, man.
You would find
Why
a lot
not?
of use for a flamethrower.
Could you imagine robbing a 7-Eleven with a flamethrower?
A drive-by flaming.
A drive-by flaming. Anyway, speaking of the Bureau.
And changing everything.
Yeah, back to business. Did you know that they officially dropped the case against PHH?
Yeah, they're changing everything. Look at this.
Wow. Okay, the last judgment by the Federal Court of Appeals threw the decision of what to do back in the CFPB's corner,
Right.
which would have been a victory for the CFPB had they been under Cordroy's direction. But under Mulvaney, he just dismissed the case.
Fired the case like all the people.
Love it! Keep in mind, this is the case where Cordroy had increased the fine against PHH from $6 million to $109 million.
Why not?
And by all indications, the CFPB would have won and PHH would have been out $109 million.
Yeah, but with one stroke of the pen, all that's gone. PHH gets to keep its money and walk their ass right out of the courtrooms, less their millions spent in attorney fees.
Right. Okay, and finally, we have $25.1 trillion in total equity.
That's a lot.
That's about $500 billion more than the previous quarter.
Give or take about 25 billion.
Right. And more than we've ever had once again.
Superlatives, I love them.
So here's the deal, folks.
All right, I know where you're going with this.
In markets, whenever you hear the word ever, right?
Okay, ever.
There's going to be a correction.
Right.
The most ever, the lowest ever, the highest ever. It always corrects.
It does. It always corrects.
Kind of has to.
In fact, previous Fed chief Ben Bernanke now says our markets are not headed towards a correction. No, he's saying right now that our economy is headed off a cliff. And it's going to happen in the next 2 years.
And of course, we brought this up yesterday, and
Sure.
not to mention this as well is a bunch of Zillow economists
Right.
also agree that this is going to happen in the next couple of years.
Of those surveyed, I think it was over 50%. It really brings us back to the same point that we always have. As a real estate agent, okay? We're always trying to find inspiration or angles that we can go ahead and attack.
Right.
We already know from NAR, 73% of the people think it's a good time to sell a house right now.
Right.
Okay, so we know your people are thinking of selling. We know that we're at the peak or a pinnacle of a market. We always talk about timing. We spoke about this last week as well.
Right.
So I'm asking the real estate agents. We didn't hear a lot of feedback from this, but I know that you guys all want to be more successful. Like I said, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, man, I hope I can just squeeze by to make that Jaguar lease payment.
Right.
So why not change our habits? Don't you think this is the time,
It's the
for
time.
a realtor to act, to farm their markets, to go out there and say, here is the evidence. This market's going to change. Your 3-year plan is going to be 2 years, 10 months too late.
Yeah, we have to do that. I think that a lot of people will notice in the bigger areas too, if they get on their MLSs and look at average time on market, you're going to see homes are staying on the market longer.
Yep.
Which means it's here.
Yep.
It's starting to change, and we have to get that message out to all those potential sellers.
Yeah, in fact, two of the hotter markets, which always kind of are the canaries in the coal mine, you're going to find Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada.
Right.
Those ones jump up and
Right.
they fall because they're second markets, but they're hot markets. They're
Right.
for your snowbirds and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, we are starting to see in those markets properties that are sitting.
Yes.
They're sitting, not for weeks. I actually spoke with a real estate agent who pulled a listing off the market, was keeping it off for a certain period of time so they can throw that sucker back on. You don't hear this unless markets are changing. I'm
That's
telling
right.
you, talk to your people right now.
It's changing. Let us know your thoughts on all this down below. Leave us your comments, forward, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys later here at the National Real Estate Post.
And everybody, the MREV thing, man, that was super, super fun. Totally dig it. Thank you, and can't wait to do it again.
See ya.